say that yes, I am back. A lot of friends have been asking me if I'm still traveling. No, I'm back at home at this point. I'll have more info about what I'm doing back home soon. After traveling for 7 months, I ran out of money, so I came back home to get a job. This wasn't some sort of mistake. I was planning on traveling until I ran out of money, but I'll have more details about what I'm doing now that I'm home soon. I'm just gonna come out and say I got pretty sloppy with the filmmaking in the later part of my trip, so I'm going to narrate through it because there's still some really great content to show you. After Thailand, I took a ferry to Malaysia. Malaysia wasn't originally in my plans of travel, but I'm really glad that I went there. It has this awesome mix of Eastern and Western life. I crossed the border on a little Malaysian island called Langkawi. Gorgeous island with a great mix of culture, but you definitely have to look for it. There's a lot of typical tourism type places that you kind of have to work your way around. You're definitely going to have to dodge and weave through a lot of hawker stands and people trying to rent you jet skis and all that sort of typical tourist stuff. But with that being said, there's an amazing aquarium on Langkawi that's definitely worth checking out. They've got some really well laid out exhibits, and being from the other side of the world, they just had some interesting creatures on display that I don't normally get to see in the aquariums back home. Some of the really notable exhibits that they had was a tank with giant aquatic spider crabs, and there was also a octopus there with about a 16-foot wingspan. If you find yourself in Langkawi, I definitely recommend checking out the aquarium, but besides that, I would say rent a motorbike and try and explore further out into the island. Don't stick to the tourist areas so much because there's not all that much to see there. Now, after Langkawi, I made my way to the island of Penang. Penang is Malaysia's second largest city and it's home to some amazing art districts. There are some amazing bars and restaurants, but what really caught my attention was a rumor about this temple overrun with pit vipers, yet somehow still open to the public. It's no myth, this temple actually exists. It's perhaps the only temple of its kind. There's at least 100 snakes in this temple, and there's more showing up every year. Legend has it that the temple was built by a monk who frequented the jungles around Penang to visit and take care of snakes. After his death, the snakes started traveling to the temple and made a home there. Now, while these pit vipers have a deadly neurotoxin venom, they're pretty docile. The locals claim that the incense they keep going in the temple kind of lure the snakes into a trance. And it seemed to be true, but I definitely still kept my distance between the snakes and myself. This is becoming real. I'm like so nervous now. Probably the crazier thing that I've been to on my travel. We are at the snake temple and there are apparently like venomous defanged snakes everywhere throughout this temple. So we just got in from the entrance and right there behind me, those are some snakes right there just chilling out, and a little bit of a nerve-wracking experience already, and we haven't even gotten inside. No glass, just chilling. It just seems like so mellowed out, like their eyes are like half open. Yeah. That's okay. Just the tail? Alright. Oh, it's like very muscular. No way. Yeah? Yes, they said like the snakes, or I guess they're like basically everywhere. And they just come here like on their own. Like that's just stay like straight down just under the path. Like, yeah, nope. Oh, there's one there in the trees. Oh, two. Although those pythons at the beginning, those were pretty big.
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, I'm gonna call that like a pretty big step forward though, that I touched a python. It's not the first time I've touched a snake, but it's been the first time in a long time that I've touched a snake.
That you've been able to pull yourself into it.
After Penang, I finished out my trip with a short visit to Kuala Lumpur. Kuala Lumpur is a gorgeous city with a very interesting mix of cultures. It's got a very strong blend of Eastern and Western life. It's a very modern city with all the amenities you could imagine. It's no wonder that people from all over the world come to Kuala Lumpur for work. It's a theme park inside of a mall. Crazy. I can even attest to the quality of the hospitals here because I had to make a visit myself. I got a severe bacterial infection in my foot that I got treated while I was in Kuala Lumpur. I really crushed my ankle the other day. Check this out. Oh yeah, definitely not pretty. A little update on the leg. It is healing quite nicely. It was infected. Basically what happened, I was walking down the street in Thailand right before I came to Malaysia and just slipped on some wet tile outside of a 7-Eleven for like a week. It's fine. It was like, you know, the cuts were healing a little bit slow. It wasn't too bad. Like I didn't really think much of it until about a week into my travels in Malaysia. My foot swelled up like a balloon and turned red. So good sign of infection. First I kind of just thought it was a sprained ankle, but clearly that wasn't the case. 3 days into antibiotics, the swelling is almost completely gone. Basically, I cut my foot in Thailand and didn't properly treat it. I got lucky, but in the future, and as a word of advice, bring a little tube of topical antibiotic while traveling. A little attention up front could have avoided a whole lot of issues down the road. Alright, well that wraps up my short trip to Malaysia. I'd really love to hear from you. In the comments below, tell me what your favorite video that I've done so far is. Thanks for watching. Check this out. Looks like I'm in an airport, right? This is a bus station. This is easily the biggest, coolest bus station I've been to while traveling or even back home. That's my boarding gate. Wait, boarding gate to the bus station? It's crazy.